welcome back. Give it up for Louis Cato and the Late Show Band, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, we now return to the dismantling of our government already in progress. One of the first victims Elon Musk has decided to sacrifice to the ever-ravenous gods of chaos is the United States Agency for International Development, or USAID, which for over 60 years has been the international humanitarian arm of the United States government, addressing hunger, disease, and poverty all around the world. Well, on Sunday night, Musk post, "We spent the weekend feeding USAID into the wood chipper, could gone to some great parties, did that instead." It's could have gone to some great parties, okay? Well, at least you're not a grammar Nazi. Now, without providing any proof, Elon said USAID is a criminal organization. Oh yeah, they're an international crime syndicate hell-bent on helping people. Just like their dastardly heroes, Mama T and Kid Gandhi. This weekend, Musk and the Elon Jungen launched a blitzkrieg, locked employees out of their computers, making the agency's website vanish, instructing staffers to stay out of the Washington headquarters with yellow police tape and officers blocking the lobby. It's gotta be a weird detail. That's gotta be a weird detail for those officers. I've got a secretary here saying she left her good lotion on her desk. Bath and Body Works, hello sugar, subject appears agitated and smells delicious, requesting backup. So, the question is, can USAID be saved? And should it be saved? Or should we allow the unelected richest man in the world, on a whim, cut off life-saving funding to some of the poorest people in the world? Here to answer those questions is the most recent and possibly last administrator of USAID, Samantha Power. Samantha? Thanks for being here. Have a seat. There you go. JFK established USAID in 1961, which, this was a product of the Cold War, USAID. What was its mission, and why is that mission still vital now that the Cold War is over? Why do we still need it?
Well, the Cold War, of course, Kennedy was thinking about the battle for hearts and minds and what would win America the affections of global publics. So this is an investment in our stability, in our security, in our alliances. And that is what USAID has done since Kennedy created it. Helped eradicate smallpox, on the verge of eradicating polio. Again and again, USAID is on the front lines of some of the hardest challenges that our country faces and that some of the most vulnerable people in the world face.
So it's a premier example. It's like a prime example of what people call soft power in the world, influencing the rest of the world through the way we help them. Do you have any sense of what's actually going on at the agency right now? Because it's kind of confusing what the status is.
It's confusing in some respects, but the core fact is programs that we're running that people were depending on, in some cases for life-saving medicine, like medicine if you have HIV that keeps you alive, quite literally, or if you're in Sudan and you have a child who's wasting away because of malnutrition, a miracle paste, a peanut paste that USAID provides, brings that kid back from the brink of death. All of those programs are shuttered. And
immediately.
They were shuttered from the minute the executive order went out, and it didn't say, hey, let's review programs going forward. It said, stop everything you are doing globally. Right now, stop it, no matter the human consequences.
Regardless if you were in the middle of distributing food.
We have stories of kids who are going in for their TB medicine, and the first 3 kids in a long, long line waiting out in the hot sun got the TB medicine, everybody else told to go home.
So let's say Trump, gets what he wants, and the U.S. stops providing $40 billion in aid around the world. What happens then? I mean, do we launch a Kickstarter for the rest of the world? Who out there is going to step in to this gap?
Well, one of the things that we were so focused on is how do we turn the taxpayer resources that are given to us into more? So we actually, over the last 4 years, increased private sector contributions to development and humanitarian causes by about 40%. For every dollar we spent in a place like Ukraine, we turned it into $3 from other countries. But when the US pulls away, it's not clear what those other countries will do. There'll be a collective action problem. But the countries that stand most to benefit are authoritarian nations. They are nations that thrive on corruption and thrive on chaos. You see tweets, indeed, this week from Russian officials celebrating the potential demise of USAID. You see the officials from the People's Republic of China who are now confronting a serious issue in developing countries because those countries have gone into such debt to work with China that they now want to look elsewhere. They were turning to the United States,
so
really
this is a gift to Russia and China.
This is a huge gift to the People's Republic of China, particularly because they are showing up and trying to bring countries into their orbit in order to be able to access critical minerals, in order to be able to have their supply chains reside in these developing countries. But those countries were turning toward the United States because we offer an entirely different value proposition that is rooted fundamentally in caring about the people in the countries in which we work.
So even if people don't care about USAID, if they're not moved by the mission of USAID, this is undeniably, people have said this from both sides of the aisle, that this is an unconstitutional grabbing of power by an unelected rich guy. And even if it was Trump doing it, it would still be unconstitutional because Congress has the purse strings. Is there anything that people can do to push back around something like this?
Well, let me say the other reason that people should care is USAID was monitoring, for example, bird flu in 49 countries. There's an Ebola outbreak in Uganda right now that we were helping the Ugandan authorities deal with.
And my understanding is that one of the reasons why we don't have Ebola here is that USAID has helped stamp it out where it
Correct.
Where pops up around the world, so no one's getting on a plane and bringing it here.
And we've gotten better and better at doing it, but we've gotten better at doing it because we have people in the field who have expertise and who know how to deal with infectious disease outbreaks. But yes, Congress fundamentally would have to be involved in any dismantling of USAID. USAID has enjoyed broad bipartisan support over these decades. Indeed, yesterday we had a number of Republican senators come out and talk about the importance of USAID in standing up to the People's Republic of China, in providing vital HIV medicine, in actually buying American farm commodities and sending those farm commodities to hungry people overseas. So there's broad awareness of the good that USAID is doing, not only for the people in the countries in which we work, but also for U.S. security and U.S. interests. However, now that has been overtaken by so many distortions and inventions about what USAID programming is, at the same time that the people doing the invention have taken down the website where we list all of our programs and our projects. So it's not even possible for people to fact check against, again, this misinformation that is being put out.
Why do you think this is the first agency that is being taken out behind the barn?
Well, I think we saw last week as well an effort to cut off all federal programs, but there was an uproar. People called their congressmen and women blue states, red states. These programs are really important in the lives of Americans. The kids at those vaccination clinics, those girls who are in school because of USAID, they don't vote in our elections. They don't have the numbers of congresspeople. They don't have that ability to use that lever. So it's really up to the rest of us to make that case.
So that while it affects the United States ultimately because of our influence around the world and protecting us from flare-ups of disease or conflict around the world, we don't immediately see it. Therefore, they can go ahead and attack this one agency and no one's going to care that much.
And again, aided by a complete misconstrual about what the agency does. So we need to get the story out there about what the facts are, about how many lives have been saved, about how U.S. security is advanced, how U.S. prosperity and markets for American goods are being created by the work we do in the economic sphere. We've got to tell that story, but it's really important for those who know this work to use their voices and to stand up to this evisceration of something that is so vital to the United States. We are the ground game for American foreign policy, and we are the face of American values, and it's essential that this be preserved.
Sam, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming down. Samantha Power, everybody. We'll be right back with Miles Teller.